There you are. Welcome to Zen Fits here in Blackstone, Virginia. In case you don't know where that is, it's southwest of Richmond, about 50 miles, in what's called Southside. Southside, Virginia is basically the tobacco farming area of Virginia. It's not flat and it's not mountains. It's just rolling, nice countryside. Anyway, welcome to Blackstone, the center of the world. Now I say that, and I never really get into it. What is the center of the world, and why would I say I'm at the center of the world? Blackstone's the center of the world. Well, of course you say, well, that's silly. There is no center of the world. There is no, the world is infinite. How far you keep going, you can't, wherever you go, you never find the center. But you go out, if you zoom out, now that we're zooming out further than ever before. Now we're zooming out, back to the Big Bang, and then what's beyond the Big Bang? There's no end to zooming out, and there's no end to zooming in. You zoom in, and you see the body, and you go through. And we do this on TV. We enjoy the trip through the body in a little spaceship, and then we go deeper into the body. This is always Gulliver's Travels. Gulliver's Travels was, I think it was 17th century or 18th century. I forgot where it was, but anyway, Gulliver visited the Lilliputians, the tiny little people, and he visited the Brogren, the big people, where they were huge, and he was tiny, so he was going out and zooming in, you see. Where is home? Where is the center of the world? You can't find it. And yet we're always yearning for it. Home. Home is the center. Now, if you said, where is your home? I would say, well, it's Blackstone. And where in Blackstone? Well, it's on 606 South Main Street. And then, well, where on 606? Where is that? Well, then it's a gray house, and then I would begin to describe the house I live in. It's a turn-of-the-century house. My wife even grew up here. Her family bought the house in 1940. So anyway, but I'm not describing home. I'm describing a house. So where is home? There's a difference between home and a house, or a place and home. If you go camping and you got a tent and you go for a long walk, you might get tired and say, well, let's go home. Well, where is home? It's the tent. Or if you go travel in the city, if you go to a city and you stay in a motel, and you say, well, all right, we're done with today's adventures. Let's go home. It's the motel room. So obviously home is not a place that's static. It's always the same. We may feel like if you go to America, you go to Europe, you say, oh, let's go home. Well, I don't want to go back to America. So home is difficult to get hold of. When you're at home, you feel you're at the center of the world. Now, what does being at the center of the world feel like? Well, in the Big Bang, Sheldon's home is his spot. When he's at his spot, and he'll describe it. It's at the center of the room. The light, the sounds, the perspective, the distance, and everything. It's at the center of the room. That's his spot, you see. Well, this is a metaphor. We laugh at it. Yet we're all looking for our spot. If you got in your living room, you probably have a spot, a chair. When you sit in a chair, you feel at home. Or at the dinner table, you might have a spot where you sit at the dinner table. Or maybe in your house you got your computer and your little office and your desktop and everything is just right, and you get to organize it your way, and you go, I'm at home here, you see. So home is subjective, not objective, because it's changing, So you can't. So the center of the world is subjective. Home is subjective. Now, the great myth of the Western mind, consciousness, of course, is the Genesis story where Adam and Eve were ejected from home. The Garden of Eden was home. It was the center of the world, but they got kicked out. And now they were punished for disobeying God, you see, to wander throughout time looking for home. So the Western myth, both religion and science, is the nostalgia for a lost paradise. We are wanderers in the world looking for home, looking for home, looking for our source, looking for our mother, looking for our, I'm at home, finally, I'm at home, the journey is over, I'm at home. Ironically, in our culture, the only time you really get home is when you're dead. Say, oh, well, he rest in peace. He's at a better place. He's home. You see how we think? We think like exiled. We think like the lost children. All of our movies, all of our stories, and even science is searching for the lost home. What's science searching for? The theory that explains everything. I'm home. This formula, this mathematic formula, this theory explains everything. I'm home. And then somebody comes up and finds a flaw in it and says, no, you're not home yet. This one's home. And so home gets kicked down the road, you see, as the place, as the center of the world or the center of the mind or the center of science or whatever. The center. We can't find the center. Why, you see? Well, because it's out there. It's over there. Where's home? Oh, it's over there. It's just 10 miles away. Or it's just a few feet away, you see. But it's out there. Now, our language is the problem. Now, if you ever remember your English grammar, I don't even know if they teach this anymore. But you had to diagram sentences. And the fundamental formula of English, an Indo-European language, is you got a subject, noun, you got a verb, the noun does something to other nouns, subject, verb, object. And this is the law of language and the law of thinking, and we assume the law of the universe. The universe, we believe, without question, it fits our grammar. I'm a subject, I'm a noun, in a world of nouns, in time, I'm a noun, I'm a thing, and I'm here in Blackstone, you see. And I do things, I make things move. I can move the chair, I can even destroy the house, I can create a new house. I do things, I do verbs, you see. To what? To other things. And this is the way we think. This is the way we frame reality. I'm doing things to other things. So if I want to say, well, I want to get home, home is an object, and I'm a subject, and I've got to do something to get to home, you see. So the very use of language separates us from our home, or the object, or the thing, you see. I'm a thing, doing things it's like we think the world is it's a pool table, and I'm a cue ball. And I knock things into pockets, move things around. You see, I want to clear the table. Why do we want to clear the table? Because I'm home then. When work is done, I'm home. When the search is over, I'm home. Home is the source. I want to get to God, the source, home, you see. So our whole reality is framed by the language of a subject looking for home. The end of grammar. In other words, the language separates us from our object, our home, creates a tension, and now we have to do things or find a way or find a path or find a teacher or find a science that will get us home and stop the yearning for our lost paradise. But we may have a momentary feeling of being home, but now it doesn't last. Something changes, something comes, something interferes, the washing machine breaks down, I go bankrupt, whatever. Whatever, you see. And then you got the solution to it is being a yogi, or being a monk, or being homeless. Well, I'm homeless now. I'm not search for home because I've got no home. So home is my spot on the street where I sleep, you see. Or the yoga in India, home was by through ascetic disciplines leaving the world and becoming detached from the world and from the search for home, you see. But it's all about our language. Now, what's the alternative to, if you remember language, there are three persons. There's first person, there's second person, and there's third person. Now, we live in the third person grammar. The modern scientific, rational world is a third person world where, if you remember the third person, everything is a person, place, or thing. You see, everything is an it. Got I, subject, and you got it. And everything is an it, including me. I'm an it. If I want, I can look at me and say, well, who are you? Well, I'm an it. I'm Ed Conley. That's an it. I live in Blackstone. That's an it, And I can describe my history and my karma and my personality. It's all an it. Or I can describe the world, the it, that this is. I got two its. It's depending on how I look at myself. I'm either an it or the world is it. You're an it. Everything's an it. This is third person grammar. This is the form of the way we perceive the world. This frames the world. So as long as we're in third person grammar, we cannot find home because home is just an it and it changes. We can't find it. What is it? What is it? You see, we're looking, that quote, what is it? We can't say. It's an it. Well, what's an it? There's no end to its, you see. So what and now in grammar you got first person and second person. So we know third person now. If you remember Avatar, sky people who are the humans or human consciousness, where everything's an it to them. The Navi, the home tree, everything's an it. And you use its for your own benefit. Its are there. Its are useful. If they're not useful, get rid of it. Third person grammar, So in Avatar, Jake Sully, of course, comes to Pandora with third person grammar, but he discovers, he comes there, but he discovers the first person. Or he discovers the second person. Now, the second person is I, thou, is relationship. Second person grammar is relationship. So you're in relationship with somebody. It can be either as an it, you go to the store and the clerk is an it. But if you fall in love with that clerk, now that clerk is thou. Your loved one is not an it. They're thou. I, thou. Martin Buber mapped this out. So I, thou, you see, is a relationship that is not I, it. The I and the thou are the same, but they're different. The I and the it are different, and they're never the same, you see, because I, it is like cue balls. Cue balls bump into each other, but they can't become one cue ball. But in an I-thou relationship, you see, you're not in third-person grammar. You're in second-person grammar, and I and thou and I are different, but they're the same. You all know, you can experience this in any kind of a love relationship. They're not an it. You relate to them as thou, and not something. But then what's the first person grammar? All right, so we've got three persons, right? That's third, the second, and first. First person grammar can only be discovered for me in Buddhism. Zen Buddhism describes first person grammar. So in Zen you would say, from the beginning all beings are Buddha. Well, obviously, if all beings are Buddha, that doesn't fit third person or even second person grammar. All beings are Buddha. Say Buddha, if you're thinking in third person, well then Buddha's an it, and all beings can't be that it. You see, that's stupid. Buddha's, and it's an object, so all beings can't be an object. So obviously, from the beginning, all beings are Buddha is a shift in language. It is a shift in the way we perceive the world, or home. So all beings are Buddha means I am home. Wherever I am, I'm home. In first person, there is no home. They're out there. You see, there's no it's. If there's no it's, then I am. You see, so I am. Where can I go that I am not? Think about that. Where can you go that you're not? Well, I can think, across the street, there's a street over there. I'm not there, but I'm imagining it. But if I go over there, here I am. If you go to California, you take yourself with you. So you're always, I am, at the center of the world. Wherever you go, the world is around you. You move and the world moves around you. It's like on a GPS navigator. Wherever you go, the world reboots around you. You're the only stable. You're always at the center on the GPS navigator, and the world changes around you. But if you look at a flat map, that's third-person grammar. The world is flat, the world is flat, and the world is flat. But the world is real, and you move in the world. The world doesn't change. In third-person grammar, we come into the world, into the map, we run around for a while, and then we leave. But the map stays the same. In first person, you are the map. You see? When you go, the map goes. You are the center of the world. And this is what just boggles our mind, you see, because we can't think in first person. We can only think in third person. And we can have relationship in second person. But first person, I am, you see, the center of the world, makes no sense. We can't, they're incompatible. The first person view, I am the center of the world, and things are the center. Then there is no center of the world. If we do have a center, the Bible would call it a false idol. You've made something that is not the center, an it, into a thou. You made an it into a thou, a sacred place, you see. So, but then we discover, in Avatar, the home tree is the center of the world, but the earth, the humans chopped it down, blew it up. Anyway, so we're just playing with this idea today, and you should too. Where is home? Where is home? Anyway, thanks for dropping in.